Wetlands are ecosystems where large amounts of water are present for long enough that aquatic and wetland processes begin to occur. These ecosystems can include features like poorly drained soil that retains large amounts of water, plenty of water-loving vegetation, and animals such as ducks, beavers, frogs, and other aquatic species that thrive in wet environments. Wetlands are highly diverse and offer many ecological, economic, and cultural benefits, such as reducing the impacts of flood and drought, improving water quality, providing habitat and food for people, wildlife, fish, and plants, and removing large amounts of carbon from the atmosphere and storing that carbon in their soils. This is a process we call sequestration. Carbon is an element that is naturally occurring in nature. It's all around us. You can find carbon in the rocks and the soils that make up the land, in rivers, lakes, and oceans, in our atmosphere, and inside of living things, like you and me. Have you ever heard someone use the term muskeg before? What they're referring to are peatlands, which are formally classified as bogs, fens, and peat swamps. About 25% of the world's wetlands can be found in Canada and in the boreal forest region. Much of that includes these carbon-rich peatlands. In peatlands, thick layers of dead plants build up over thousands of years under wet conditions, forming deep, carbon-rich organic soil deposits, known as peat. These areas do not always look like your typical wetland. You might not always see standing water and cattails, but instead, black spruce and tamarack trees growing out of mounds of mosses. Globally, peatlands cover only 3% of the Earth's surface, but store over 30% of all land-based carbon. That's about 600 billion tons of carbon. 25% of these peatlands are in Canada, where they cover an area larger than the province of Ontario and store approximately 150 billion tons of land-based carbon, or the same amount of carbon Canadians are set to emit in the next 25 years through greenhouse gases. The vast majority of peatland carbon is stored below ground in organic soils, as opposed to above ground in trees, plants, and other living things. In Canada's northern regions, a lot of this carbon is trapped in permanently frozen earth called permafrost. If these soils are disturbed, causing permafrost to thaw, it can lead to the rapid loss of carbon into the atmosphere in the form of carbon dioxide and methane. Continue watching this video series to learn more about wetland carbon, the carbon cycle, and what's at risk for these vast stores of carbon in a warming future climate.